Everybody loves the idea of bringing technology and digital tools to the job site if it makes our lives easier. But those digital tools don't swing a hammer. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the tools that Builders FirstSource has provided us to make our lives a whole lot easier during the construction of this home. But sometimes the old school way is just the best way to do it. Today's video sponsored by Builders FirstSource. Let's get going. So even with all the digital tools in the world, why are we framing this basement traditionally? I'm going to walk you through a few things that helped us make our decision for this house, how we decided to frame it, and how we're integrating some of those Builders FirstSource digital tools on this particular job. So as you've seen, we've started framing the basement down here. This project, we decided really early on that we were going to use traditional framing methods for the lower level. Now, a few of the reasons that kind of triggered that decision are, first off, this slab. So we all know how inconsistent concrete can be. We need to make sure things slope. Concrete is not always perfectly level and flat. So trying to come up with the inconsistency if this concrete is slightly lower on one side versus the other, when we're pre-cutting all of the lumber with ready frame, that can make it a little bit challenging. We also had a few little random changes with some recessed basement shower floors that would have accounted for some taller walls in locations that it just made more sense to us and our team to traditionally frame this basement. And then we're going to be using ready frame from the floor structure all the way up. The slope is probably like the number one thing that made us decide to traditionally frame it. These are those other areas. So when we have our recessed shower floors, the concrete crew, when they came through and formed this, actually formed it a little funky. So this side of it, the wall actually drops down into the recess. On this side, the wall is sitting up on the edge. So some of those inconsistencies would have caused a bit of a challenge with the ready frame just because this wall would have been cut differently. We would have had some more waste from having to get different material to use it. So those are just little things that made our decision a lot easier to try and frame this basement traditionally. Now, a few of the other challenges that we have with this particular job site, this whole level is radiant heat. So we're hydronic heating this basement floor. When you have those hydronic tubes that are running through this slab, we now have to be extremely careful with the hilties that we're putting through all of our plates into the concrete. So if we traditionally had, say, a 3-inch long hilty that we're going to shoot through the bottom plate into the concrete, we can't do that here. Because our radiant heat tubing is so close to the top, we have to make sure that we're paying attention to what type of fasteners we're using to put these bottom plates onto this concrete. So along with just some traditional adhesive, we'll be using some shorter nails, and that allows us to put these plates down and secure them without damaging the tubes. Because when you hit those radiant heat tubes, it is not a second chance. That starts leaking immediately and we have an issue. And on this house, it's a problem because all of this basement floor is going to be polished concrete when we're done. We don't have a floor surface like a hardwood or a carpet or a tile to cover up mistakes in the concrete. So if we end up having to chisel this stuff open to fix a pipe that got burst, we're now going to see that patch in the polished concrete floor. So not a big fan of that. So that kind of led us in this direction.